Okay, welcome to my explanation of an indoor game called mini golf. For this you'll need some mini golf equipment including some mats and cones, and there'll be a link to the description of the rules in this video as well for you to follow if you miss anything. So first of all you'll need to set up some holes. So for this you might do this indoor. You can also do this outdoor, but it's a game I usually use when it's raining outside because I have a double classroom to use. So I have these mini golf mats and the ball gets teed up here. You need to make sure you have numbered cones for each hole so students know where they're going. And then I usually have like an obstacle, like a table or a chair that they have to hit under. Then at the other end, I have the hole where they have to aim for. And then I have another numbered cone, so they know that that's the hole that they're aiming for. So the students will be in groups of 2 or 3. If there's a 4, you can split them up into 2 twos. They will need 1 putter. They will need 1 golf ball each. Now I use these mini sort of soft golf balls, so you wouldn't use a real golf ball inside if you're using. You could probably do it outside if you wanted to, but I'd find it's just best for safety that you use a softer one. And then you'll need cones that might be numbered, and then maybe obstacles. I just use things that are in the room like chairs or other things, tables, things around the room. Sometimes I use hoops. Okay, so now when they play at each hole, each person has a go and you finish, one person finishes before the next person goes. So they might make a shot off the first one and it might end up here. And then they have their second shot and it misses, and maybe the third goes in. After they have their score, they'll write their score down on a whiteboard and they'll sort of make a tally. So you could have, I have an example of a scoreboard. You could print these out. I like to just use whiteboards, otherwise you have paper instead. And they can mark down the score for each person. I usually do it like a tally. So you maybe have initials, so T, A, and R might be their names, and the first person who was T scored 3 on the first hole, and then you might have the holes all the way down, however many holes you decide. I usually make about 9, and that's usually enough room to have a whole class if you have groups of 2 or 3. It usually solves that issue. Now, also, I have a maximum of 5 shots. That's why they're not playing forever and people don't get held up on a hole. You can make it easier by them only having to touch the hole if students are struggling, or you could get them to go in the hole. It depends what you're using as a hole. I actually have these Golf Australia mini golf holes to use, but you might have a cone that they just need to hit or something like that instead. You can make it as easy or as hard as you can. So after that, the next person will pass the club to the next person after, and then they will go because you only have 1 club and they can use their ball. This person that's finished could maybe move on to hole 2, so try to have the holes next to each other so then they can continue playing across. So they'll play each hole and whatever they score, and you keep playing all the holes until you finish. Now, if another group is ahead of them and they're still finishing off the hole, they can wait there or they can go to another hole that's not used by any group. I also have the rule that their putters or clubs should not go over shoulder height. If they do, maybe one time I'd warn them. And then after, if they continue to do it, I'll give them, a couple of minutes or a 5-minute timeout of playing. And then maybe they can join back in if they're being safe. Then after you've played all the holes, you add up your score and the lowest score would win. And then once they're finished, if you have enough time, you could have a second round if you want. So that's my rules of mini golf. I hope you enjoy playing.